Although most vegetables do best with abundant sunshine, it is possible to grow vegetables in less than ideal sunlight conditions. And in today's video, I'm going to share my best tips to help you maximize the available sunlight, anticipate the challenges that come, and I'll share my favorite vegetables, herbs, and flowers that grow well in the shade. But if we haven't met before, my name's Angela from Growing in the Garden, and I love to share garden inspiration and helpful tips so you can be successful in your own garden. The first step is to evaluate your garden and see how much sun it actually receives. The sun's angle changes, and over the course of the year, your garden is going to receive different amounts of sunlight. Here are some key terms that it's important to understand as you evaluate your garden to see how much sun it receives and you decide what to plant in your garden. When you hear the term full sun, that typically means that the garden gets abundant sunshine, at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight. The term partial sun means that it gets at least 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight each day. Partial shade means 3 to 4 hours of direct sunlight each day. It's considered full shade if it receives less than 3 hours of direct sun. And deep shade means no sunlight at all. If the area that you're gardening in receives less than 3 hours of sunlight, you need to choose a new spot. Although it's possible for some plants to grow well in that location, typically vegetables that we grow for food need more than 3 hours of sunlight. We know that sunlight is important for growing everything, but how much sun do plants actually need? Some types of vegetables will tolerate shade better than others. The types of plants that need the most sun are flowering plants. All of those plants that produce a flower, such as tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, will do best if they have abundant sunshine. Flowering plants need a minimum of 6 hours of sun per day. Plants grown for their edible roots, things like carrots and parsnips, they will tolerate 4 hours of sun. Plants grown for their edible leaves, think lettuce and kale, things like that, they will grow if they receive at least 3 hours of sunlight. If you're growing in an area that receives more shade than you would like, there are a few things you can do to maximize the available sunlight. The first thing you can do is to not plant too closely together. Plants too close to one another will shade each other out. Give each plant plenty of room so that plant can absorb all that sunlight. The next way to maximize the available sunlight is to move the garden to where the sunlight is. Using grow bags and containers is a great way to make your garden portable and maximize the sunlight available. The next thing to do is to visualize your garden with the tree's leaves gone. Maybe you plant in the fall, and then once the tree loses its leaves, that location will get a little bit more sun. Here are a few things to keep in mind when you don't have quite enough sun in your garden. Don't overwater your garden. Soil in areas that receives less sunlight will take longer to dry out. Pay attention to your soil. Don't water unless your soil needs it. Vegetables grown with less sun will be smaller than their full sun counterparts. A good example of this is onions. When I grow onions in my side yard garden that doesn't receive quite as much sun, those onions still grow, but they're smaller than the onions grown in my full sun garden. Some herbs and vegetables may get leggy, long stems as they're reaching for that sunlight. Keep those herbs and vegetables trimmed back to encourage bushier plants. Be patient if your vegetables take longer to grow. Vegetables grown in less than ideal conditions may take longer than the days to harvest number on the seed packet. Don't over-fertilize. Plants require less fertilization when they're grown in the shade. Be on the lookout for pests. Pests are attracted to plants that are grown in less than ideal conditions. The best thing to do is spend time in your garden each day and catch problems when they're small. Plant the right type of vegetable for the amount of sunlight that your garden receives. There are plenty of vegetables that will grow in less than 6 to 8 hours sun. Vegetables that tolerate partial sun, and you'll remember that is 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight. There are several vegetables that will grow in partial shade. Remember, that means at least 3 to 4 hours of direct sunlight per day. There are also many herbs that grow well in partial shade. There are also several flowers that grow well in partial shade. Don't let a lack of sunshine keep you from growing a garden. Use this list and pick a few of your favorites and get planting. Thank you so much for watching.